Episode 31 van dit en dat en waaraf ook nog. En in hierdie ene gaan ek bietjie gesels weer natuurlik oor die WEF, Yemen en dan 'n paar dinge uit Suid-Afrika uit. Ons land is in die kak. That's putting it mildly. Maar ek het vroeër vanoggend in die livestream het ek 'n brief gelees wat 'n Suid-Afrikaner gestuur het, 'n oop brief aan die Russiese soldate in die Oekraïne. Eers en daai ding het my hart geslaan toe. Ek het sommer heeltemal emosioneel geraak toe ek die ding lees. Ek sal hom ook doen in 'n Skidmarks. Dit is te waardevol om net in die livestreams te laat lê. Maar hier is dinge aan die gang en ek wonder baie keer by myself. Ek wens dit was moontlik dat Suid-Afrika deel kon word van die Russiese Federasie. Dit sou die beste gewees het. Daai mense fucking rond met die tools. En hier's 'n moerse klomp van hierdie politici by ons wat beslis in Siberië sal opeindig as dit sou kon gebeur. Maar een ding wat ek weet van Rusland, Rusland het blykbaar iets soos 117 etniese groepe en hulle het nie etniese probleme daar. En dit is iets wat Putin glad nie toelaat nie. So diskriminasie en daai tipe van shit bestaan nie daar nie. Eendag met 'n ou gesels en toe sê hy vir my die groot ding is hulle respekteer mekaar se kultuur en bo-op alles is hulle almal Russe. En dit het my nogal diep getref. Maar nou ja, kom ons gaan aan met wat in die wêreld aan die gang is. En hierdie eerste ene kon maar net so wel 'n warre fok gewees het hoor. UK tells Africans to eat insects for the environment. Starvation threatened Africans are being encouraged to eat insects by a UK aid initiative. African caterpillars, migratory locust, black soldier flies are on the menu under the initiative taken place in Zimbabwe and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But locals are rejecting the offer due to the taste and the culture norms. Dr. Alberto Feiro, the project lead, who has whipped up a dish of locally farmed mopani worm cereal and fruit, has also created the insect-based porridge containing grains including sorghum and millets, which he reassured the Guardian is palatable. En waar die fok kom hierdie Engelse vandaan? Hulle het Rhodesia opgefok en verander in Zimbabwe. En nou vrek daai mense van die honger, hulle vreet muise en nou moet hulle nog leer om sprinkane en wurms op te eet. Dit is wat hierdie Weste doen. Fok die lande op, steel hulle bankrot. En nou voer hulle die mense vliee en fucking wurms. En hulle moer en ek is regtig, ek raak opgewonde as ek oor daai kak praat, daai fucking luisteraars wat hulle nou gekies het vir 'n eerste minister. Wat 'n donder, sy gaan daai land van die map afgevee kry. Daai mense het nou nodig om werklike professionele ekonome, ingenieurs en wetenskaplikes in hulle bestuurspan te hê, nie hierdie fucking skynsgeteelde moere wat hulle self politici noem nie. Maar in any case, die Engelse se kak is geboek hoor. Kom ons nou by Yemen, en hier het die Engelse net so groot fucking aandeel in. This is Yemen. A bullet would be more humane for these children, for not caring means it will come to our shores, and you will eat bugs. This is the future plan of the New World Order for all of us. The longest food and medicine blockade in the world, 8 years of suffering of people and children without European and Western media reporting on this. Kyk hoe lyk daai kind. Kyk, ek het gisterand in 'n Briekmerke oor gepraat ook. Tussen Rusland, China, Noord-Korea en India is dit miskien tyd dat daai vier op 'n tafel gaan sit, 'n vleisie braai en besluit fok die Weste en vee hierdie militêre basisse en kak alles van die aardbol af en stuur daai donders na hulle lande toe dat hulle eie lande gaan verbeter en opbou en oppas in plaas van om rond te fok oor die aarde en oorlog te maak. Kyk hoe lyk hierdie kindertjies. Kyk hier, kyk na hierdie foto. Dis soos die kinders in Yemen lyk. En Amerika en die Engelse is saam met daai Saudis besig om hierdie fok op aan te vang. En dan wil hulle bekke rek oor Rusland en die Oekraïne. If only Brits saw such pictures, they will know why their government's reasoning for delaying a release of information detailing arms sales to Saudi Arabia is that release of such material may not be in the public's interest. As for a second time in a row, UK's Department of International Trade rejects releasing documents on arms exports to Saudi Arabia. Saudi-US-led NATO-sponsored war in the Yemen has already killed nearly 400,000 people, displacing millions and creating the largest humanitarian crisis in modern history. Die fok weet, en jy sal dit nooit in die pers kry nie. Want ons het 'n global revolution nodig, en hierdie politici en al hierdie mense van die media moet in toue in rye staan daar waar die toue hang. Dis wat met hulle moet gebeur. Die fucking goed moet uit ons gemeenskappe uit verwyder word. Weg. Nie gestraf word nie, weggemaak word. Kyk hierso. America, which claims protecting human rights, has led an ongoing barbaric, brutal aggression against Yemen since 7 years ago, and which it committed most heinous crimes against civilization. A photo showing just one side of the US terrorism on Yemen, and for what? Just for the sake of US evil interests. Bliksemse ding. Nou kom ons in Suid-Afrika. Billy sê, communism isn't just a system, like capitalism is a system. Communism was responsible for most of the pain and suffering we've seen in this world. So much so, that some say it's evil, the proof is there for all to see. And now to disown our property, trespassing laws. Hy's reg hoor. Nou nog. 1, we have the best coal in the world. 2, we signed a stupid deal we didn't know we signed saying we can't burn coal. 3, is committing suicide under duress murder. Where's the money for the coal we're selling to Europe? We should be getting ridiculous prices. En dit is 'n fucking goeie vraag wat hy daar vra. Net soos wat ek gister iemand by gevra oor of dink ek die ANC steel die olieafslag. Dink ek dit? For fuck's sakes. Ek is amper seker hulle doen. The illegal miners from Lesotho who were suspects in the gang rape case were released a few weeks ago and have now killed 2 South Africans in the West Rand this week. They are arrested again this morning. En Kabona Alfred vat dit raak hier. En soos gewoonlik val hierdie kak op dowe ore. En hierdie pers van ons sal dit ook nie verkondig nie. En dan kom Vrystaat boerewors. Our legal system is as useless as the ANC and Becky's police farce. Release them again. Maybe they'll kill a few more and disappear back to where they came from. That judge and prosecutor who okayed their release should be accountable. Idiots. En dan weer Kabona Alfred. I found it interesting that Becky Cele couldn't answer a simple question from Ian Cameron. The same thing happened again. Thandi Modise had to hide behind the race car to avoid difficult questions from the white person. Right, manne, hierdie strom. Hey, ek weet nie wat het ons gedoen om so gestraf te. Dan van Pulani Majosi. It was great to see South Africa's former minister, Barbara Hogan, criticizing BEE recently, saying that it fosters a culture of entitlement. She was right. Will more leaders speak up against a damaging policy, please? En, jammer om te sê, niemand sal 'n fucking woord sê nie. Want hulle steel te lekker en verryk hulle self te lekker met daai BEE kak. En hierdie is 'n shot to tell him on pause om alles mooi te lees. This is clearly the shortest, most accurate narrative of a South African state of affairs. Could have never been better scripted. Interesting point. South Africa is the only country in the world where affirmative action is in favor of the majority who has complete political control. The fact that the political majority requires affirmative action to protect them against 9% minority group is testament to a complete failure on their part to build their own wealth-making structures such that their only solution is to take it from others. Finally, a word recently coined to describe South Africa's current political situation. Ineptocracy, a system of government where the least capable to lead are elected by the least capable of producing, and where the members of society least likely to sustain themselves or succeed are rewarded with the goods and services paid for by the confiscated wealth of a diminishing number of producers. Yes, and boys, dis daarom die waarheid en dis wild hierdie hoor. Real empowerment, not fat tenders. Today, we hosted about 70 micro businesses, grass cutters who own their own machinery and look for odd jobs to put bread on the table. We will use part of our grass cutting budget to support these businesses while also providing service delivery. En dis van Christopher Pappas af. Baie goeie werk wat die ouetjie daar doen, hoor. As al maar meer sulke burgemeesters in die land was. Op hierdie stadium is dit net hy en Guyton wat iets doen vir die mense. Dan weer van Kabona Alfred. Julius Malema and the ANC declared that whites are the cause of our problems. In reality, ANC en EFF are the real cause of our problems. En dit is net die waarheid wat hy daar praat. Maar weer eens, dit val op fucking IK70 dowe ore met 'n 30% pass rate. En dan hierdie is, nou, kan maar ook 'n ware fok gewees het. What do you make of revelations that at least 25% of senior managers in the public service do not have the qualifications required for their jobs? Being governed by illiterates is totally unacceptable. Democracy and constitutionalism are failing. Ja, democracy is 'n gat, man. En dan kry ons hierdie van Magnus Huystek. In South Africa, these reports have lost their shock value. Astonishing how we accept collapse as normal. Only 1 in 5 of Plaza train stations still functional. Wat 'n bliksem. En dan hierdie ding. Why do you hate us? Why do you hate the hands that feed you? EFF singing of kill the boer, kill the farmer is not hate speech, court rules. Dan vra hierdie 3 mense hieronder, why do you want to kill us, Malema? En hulle sal nie 'n antwoord kry nie. Al wat gaan help is 'n 3006 hoor. While they burn and break, Orania is teaching trade skills to their very disciplined children. Which one would you prefer as your future leader? Ja, goeie vraag. En dan maar weer vir Kabona Alfred. The foreigners went to the Constitutional Court to demand the court allow them to be employed as judges. 1. Judges in South Africa. 2. Prosecutors. 3. Lawyers. If you don't see it, you're vaccinated. What the fuck is dit hier? Ek dog dis Suid-Afrika. Maar dit lyk vir my, iemand is besig om hierdie 'n mengelpot van fucking whatever, wherever hulle vandaan kom maak. En dis scary hoor. En daar is mense in senior staatsposte by ons wat glad nie Suid-Afrikaners is nie. Maar 'n wit ou sal nie die job kry nie. Maar 'n Zaffer van Malawi sal hulle die job voorgee. En dan David Blythe. Land transactions were recorded for 350 plus years, excluding land grabbed by Bantu colonizers from the Khoi Bushmen. While you were sleeping, the Land Restitution Act addressed unjust expropriations of whites and Bantu land. Over 90% of claimants opted for cash instead of land. En dit is die waarheid, en dit wil die fucking goed nie hoor nie, hulle wil dit nie hoor nie. Wel, hulle kan dit nie verstaan nie, want hulle kan nie fucking lees nie. Weer Kabona. Transport Minister Fikile Mabula said Cabinet approved the decision to scrap the old driver's license cards. This is a daylight robbery. The ANC government looted, now they are raising funds by forcing us to have new driver's licenses. This is a robbery. En dit is die waarheid. En ons vat al hierdie kak van hierdie ouens. Ons vat dit nie. En hier is dan nou daai post waarna hulle almal verwys het. The old trusted racism card. What better way to dodge responsibility than accuse any white person who calls you out? I must say, though these so-called ANC leaders take a dim view of domestic workers, our DA must continue to put pressure to these ministers so they can account. I don't have to answer to you. You are rude, but perhaps when you look at me, you think you see a kitchen lady. Wat se kak is dit? Maar is net soos hy sê, selfde ding, hy het weer gesê, daai ou dink hy's 'n garden boy. En dan kom ons by hierdie, en dis nou maar ietsie om na te kyk, oor te dink, apartheid protected this from becoming this. Dit is die waarheid. Maar nou ja, dit is ons lewe, boys. Ek sê weer, ek wens ons kon deel word van die Russiese Federasie. Hierdie soort kak sou nooit gebeur. Dan kom Theo de Jager. The robbery last night at Grootvlei police station, in which a large number of firearms and ammunition were stolen, once again reveals the vulnerability of the police, the desperate need to implement the rural safety plan, and the role of police firearms in violent crime in South Africa. En ja, dit is die waarheid, en ek meen dit is patheties om te dink polisiestasies word beroof. Wat 'n fucking kans het ek en jy in ons huise. En dan kom ons nou by daai warre fok. Kyk maar na die ding, en skud jou kop en sê self, wat 'n fuck. We've tried everything. mismanagement, cadre deployment, corruption, and still nothing works. En hoe waar is dit? Al is dit 'n warre vak. Nou ja, klap hy like, klap hy subscribe, share die ding. Dankie vir julle support.